All you hardcore boxing fans out there, how are you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. Let's get a quick drink. Well, interesting few days. Big Malk. You piped up, aren't you, on Instagram, Big Malk? When you're not sticking it to me behind the scenes, you're sticking it to people on Instagram who I know, Carl Froch. What are you digging him out for, Malk? I'll go find it. Someone sent me it. Oh. I could take myself in. Big Malk calls himself the master knowledge, don't you, Malk? Hey? Carl the Cobra Froch, hitting points that was addressed by Mr. T and yours truly on The Fight Is Right 9. What's that stamina for sale thing that you do or whatever? What? Stamina for sale? It's a pity you didn't sell some of that to Anthony Harding when he was fighting for, you know, them fights that he was in when he got iced. Stamina for sale. Why on earth would Carl the Cobra Froch want to nick your material? Hey, well, you're not exactly this big expert, are you? You're like the Albert Trotter. Big Malk, you're the Albert Trotter of boxing, aren't you? Let's have it right. Let's have it right. Come on. Let's have it right. Well, Big Malk, this is your life. Let me just go through the Big Malk story, shall I? Let's have a look what we've got here. Let's have a look. Now, you're digging Cobra out, aren't you? I've jotted a few things down here for you, Big Malk, because I wanted to do you justice. You're digging Cobra out, you're saying he's nicked your material. You probably don't even know you've got a channel. Right? When you're not on phone to AJ or Al Heyman or Lennox, you know, when you're not name dropping, right, you're usually making a nuisance of yourself on social media, just like the rest of us. You see, thing with me, Big Mal, I talk facts, stats and facts. Right. Let's have a look at the Big Mal career. 17 fights, yeah, as a light middleweight, yeah. Only made weight twice. On your debut, you couldn't even make weight. You were overweight, so they arranged it at 155, didn't they? You couldn't even do weight. You did light middleweight twice at 17 fights. You're this expert, aren't you? Master knowledge. Well, you were the knowledge, but you changed it to master knowledge, didn't you, after Sky got rid of you? So you made light middleweight twice. You got put on Button Moon in both your last fights. You're this expert guy, right? Out of your 11 wins, one guy had a winning record, and he was 1-0. And he retired with 3 wins a year later and various losses. So you got 1 win over a guy, 1-0. So, other 10 shocking records. I'm not even going to read them out, but where did we go after that? Oh, yeah, Big Malk. Big Malk decided to do hard knock promotions, didn't you, Big Malk? Oh, Big Malk, the hard knock. What happened to hard knock promotions, eh? They put 9 shows on. 9. People were screaming about money owed, left, right, and centre. 9 shows you put on. All the investors lost their money, didn't they? Big Malk, big time boxing promoter, Carl King. The Carl King, or is it Ambrose Mendy of boxing? 9 shows you put on. 2 title fights out the area, English, British, Commonwealth, European, and world. You put an area on and an English in 9 shows. But you had a go, more than I've done. But you're carrying off like you're this expert, motivational speaker. When was the last time you did any motivational speaking? You're preaching God all the time, don't you? We know what other stuff you preach, don't we? Hey, preaching God all the time, but yeah, you take Kinahan's money, wouldn't you? For some Edison Foundation, taking that money, wouldn't you? You're just a brass like the rest of them, mate. Unbelievable. I remember when you were at Satanta and you got sacked. Do you remember? You got a sack at Satanta because I've heard back. You were going around with production team in van, supposed to be getting footage, and all you got, only footage you got were you talking about yourself. Sacked. Collect your cards, Mr. Fearon. That's what was said. And then at Sky, you're making everything at Sky about race at one point, and they were frightened to death to get rid of you. That's a true story. And what happened? You shot your Senate foot, didn't you? Going on about Oscar Rivers failed the drug test as well. Oscar Rivers failed the drug test as well. Shot your Senate foot, telling whoppers yet again. Oh, you give them the opportunity then, didn't you, to get rid of you? And all your big mates that were there at Sky, yeah, all them brothers from another mother, they didn't go into bat for you, did they? The Cobra did. He was telling everybody you're all right. Hey, and you're going to stick that on your Insta. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Unbelievable. Master knowledge. Well, when you were the knowledge, when you were at Sky, I remember being on ringside and there were you and Cobra there. And you haven't cracking that because that's what you're doing it in your wide awake suits. An interviewer said, yeah, those are the two people that Carl Froch rematched. You went, George Groves and you couldn't say the other one, could you? You were Mikhail Kessler. Mikhail Kessler. You couldn't even remember that, could you? Master knowledge. Hey? Hey? Couldn't do it, wait. Cut. And 9 shows on. And then we've got the managing career and training career, whatever. Yeah, Darren Hamilton, British champion. You put him in a fight with Curtis Woodhouse, a footballer, in Curtis's hometown, right? We had a rematch clause because she took that Sky money. Hamilton had 2 more fights, he won them and then disappeared from face of earth. Your brother from another mother. Hey, you preach all that rubbish, don't you? Hey, you were preaching all that other stuff as well, weren't you? Around Clarissa Shields, weren't you? Around Peter Fury and Savannah. You know what I'm on about, don't you? Hey, that's what you do, don't you? You make everything about that, don't you? Hey, hey. But when you're not digging me out, do you remember when you rung here? I were in that office there, Cameron's office. I were in that one there. Then when you rung here, you know what was said, don't you? Yeah, you know what you said. You had Daniel Kinnan ring Dennis because you were in helmets. Dennis said, oh, Daniel Kinnan on phone here, you're going to have to take Spencer Fearon out of helmets. He says, he ain't coming out no helmets. If I'm not going to take Peter Fury out of helmets, I ain't taking you out, am I? Hey? What did I say to you? On this phone here. What did I say to you, Spencer? You know, didn't you? What did I say? I said, I didn't know you were well connected. I was sat here pissing my pants in that office there. Yeah, and you were like, yeah. Daniel's godfather to my kids. Not true. Hey, you G'd yourself up, didn't you? A bit like in that interview the other week when you were going on about jail time. You only did a week. Mr. Big Time Money Launderer and Gun Runner. Oh, you got carried away with yourself with that. Gun Runner. Hey? And when you're not sending me £20,000 contracts to fight you, but if I say anything, I'll mention you on social media, blah, 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 and all this, you're out your mind. You're out your mind. I've still got that contract, you know, to this day. Unbelievable. I had Peter De Freitas. You probably saw this, didn't you? Peter De Freitas, who was a well-respected he used to be involved in boxing. He had Nigel Benn. Met Don King and worked with everybody. I had him dissect the contract on here. You didn't like that one, did you? Pop, pop, bang. Hey? There's bluffers and blaggers in boxing. You're the Albert Trotter of boxing. Never won a belt. Failed promoter. Everybody lost the dough. Pop, pop, bang. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. Unbelievable. Only win you've got. We were a guy over with a winning record. He'd had one win with Perry Ayers. Mr. Big Time Boxing Man. Yeah. I was speaking to Lennox last night. Oh, yeah, well, AJ rings me in early hours. Pop, pop, bang. You were used to letting Derek Chisora get flogged against Tyson Fury, and you and your pal, Big Daddy Don, couldn't even throw a towel in, could you? Spit bucket carrier for Don Charles now, and you couldn't throw a towel in. Eh? Didn't Don Charles learn from last time when Fury were knocking him about? Well, Frank Warren had to get off his seat and stop the fight. Eh? But that's you all over, innit, Big Malk, eh? And you're digging the Cobra out. Well, let's have a look at the Cobra's CV. English champion, Commonwealth champion, British champion outright. Right? There's 9 title fights there. No, sorry, 9 title fights there. Then you've got 12 world title fights. Brought pay-per-view back. Took Groves as 0, then done him at Wembley in front of 80,000. Took about 6 or 7 zeros. Roadman Killers he fought. 4-time world champion. Hall of Fame. Hall of Famer. Yeah. And you don't give him one little so much as mention on your social media, Hall of Fame guy. Why is that? When all you do is go on about Hall of Famers all the time, but you never give the Cobra a mention, do you? Never give the Cobra one mention whatsoever. Right? Anybody else who gets in Hall of Fame, you're hanging out the back of them. Lennox, Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson, the convicted rapist. Hanging out the back of them. You can't do it, can you, for Cobra? Eh? Do you think he's bothered? Sat in his big boy mansion, driving around Marbella in his Ferrari. Or when he's over here, his other big boy mansion in Nottingham. The guy's building skyscrapers, kid, in Midlands. He probably don't even give you a second thought. But I think it's disrespectful what you've said there. Because he's not that type of kid, Carl, to go nicking people's material. Unbelievable. You've not covered your Sen in Glory there, have you, big mouth? Or you sat behind your big desk puffing coolly on a large one. Eh? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, big mouth. I can't believe it. Is that 20 grand still on offer, Mal? Can you do 154, eh? Can you make 154? You've not made it for about a 25 stretch. I can do it. I can do 147, me, kid. Get down to 154 and I'll have a rumble with you. I'm still waiting. We need to get at it at Chris Smedley's gym. Thought that was the plan, wasn't it? You were going to do 154. All them weight stipulations you were going on about in that contract. Unbelievable. You must have spent hours on it, on that contract, eh? And now you're trying to piggyback on the Cobra on Instagram because he's put a video out being critical about your new friend. Yeah, your new friend, AJ. Oh, Big Meech, eh? Eh? Unbelievable. He's another one that blagged it, but he blagged it a bit better than you, didn't he? Eh? Unbelievable. As for your pal, Mr. T, I don't mind him, but while we're at it, I'm going to mention Mr. T. Now, what is he? Trainer, manager, a Yard, is he? Right, well, Anthony Yard's approaching 33-year-old. And on the mantelpiece at home, what has he got? Hey, he's got a Southern Area belt, right? And he's got a Commonwealth title. And he's approaching 33. Yeah, that's what he's approaching. Dream it, believe it, become it. Yeah. Oh, he can punch, yeah, but can he knock people out at the top level? So it's knocking bin men over, innit? Hey. Lyndon Harper beat him with one arm. Beat him with one arm, your guy. Yeah, he lost rematch, but done him with one arm. But Sunday, Mr. T, you need to pipe down as well. And get a move on with Yard's career. Unbelievable. When I'm hearing stories that you live in a bigger house than your fighter, I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? It's all messed up, isn't it? Isn't that right, Mr. T? You want Big Mouth, the double act, eh? Put some respect on the Cobra's name. Hall of Famer from the UK. You not mentioned it once. You didn't even mention it when he got inducted. Unbelievable. Burns you inside, doesn't it, kid, eh? Burns you boys, that, doesn't it? Hey? Hey? Dream it, believe it, become it. Lions in the camp. Hey? Oscar Rimsfield is interest as well. On yourself. Yeah. Go on, pop, pop, bang. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. All right. You want to do a Zoom with me? Big mouth. I'll do a Zoom with you anytime you want on here. Anytime you want. Peace out.